Hello and welcome to the Talk with Tariro. I'm sure today I should be saying welcome to the Talk with Tariros as we are celebrating, commemorating the festive season in Zimbabwe, Christmas, New Year 2021 coming, and looking forward that it will be a better year than how 2020 treated us with COVID. And to celebrate the festivities on the show, on the program today, I have maybe introduce yourself, your whole self.
Zita rangu ndi Tariro regitare, ini ndini Tariro randakabata ndiro
Guitar, exactly. That's Tariro negitare. So I'm sure Zimbabwe would want to know who is Tariro and who is the guitar there.
Tariro negitare. Tariro is me.
Yes.
I'm a singer, I'm a songwriter and guitarist. I sing a blend of Afro soul, which is your traditional sounds mixed with neo soul, mixed with traditional folk songs. Yeah, Tariro is just a fun-loving young woman who's just passionate about life, passionate about the beautiful things in life, and hoping to bring hope to every situation I come in.
Looking at your musical journey, how did it start?
So I started playing the guitar when I was 13.
Wow.
At St. John's Emerald High, St. John's Emerald Hills in when I was in Form 1. What happened is my older brother played the guitar, Manfred. So we had a guitar at home, and we happened to be in music class one day, and Sister Elizabeth then said, "Look, I'm looking for people who'd like to join the guitar choir," which was not the coolest of things.
Exactly.
But then I thought, we've got a guitar. Then I just put up my hand and I started, practicing with everybody else. Next thing, so fast forward. After high school, a friend of mine from school actually said, "There's a sister's open mic at the book cafe. Why started the guitar?"
Yes.
I said, "Yes, yeah, I used to play." So I went and I played, and it so happened to be, the way God works. That particular day happened to be the first anniversary of the sisters open mic. So you had your Duduma Nengas, Edith Wotonga,
wow.
they were all there. And that's how Edith was like, "Look, would you like to join my band?" And the rest is history.
So you started with Edith?
Yes.
And
Edith.
how did that happen?
From
there, yeah.
So from there, she invited me for my first gig, which was at Wimpy.
Yeah.
There used to be a Wimpy at Borrowdale. That's where we went and we played. And then I started, she would invite me for every other show, and we had a very nice female outfit that we'd go around with. It was then that also Diana Samkange spotted me, and I also started to perform with her as well. Started to perform with different artists. And then I also started what's called the acoustic night with a few other artists and a prayer soul. And that's where the brand Tariro Negitare sort of came to fruition, because people say, "Oh, look, there's Tariro Negitare." And I thought, that's a nice way to sort of differentiate myself. And that's how the brand sort of started.
Okay. Yeah. And, being Tariro and a guitar, being a female guitarist, how has it been?
To be honest, I think it's been what it would be for a male guitarist, I suppose. There are challenges that come with being a woman, of course. But I've also found it to be a unique way to sell your story. And instead of me focusing on what the brothers are doing, I have a unique story to tell.
Yeah.
There's a journey that I've been through that I can speak through music. So yes, it's been challenging and there's been problems, but I've realized that I need to say my story the way that is unique to me as a female musician. And the story, the stuff I go through with my daughter, with my family, with people.
I actually wanted to say, what is that story that you went through? Because that's what Zimbabwe would want to hear.
I talk about motherhood. You talk about challenges.
Yeah.
How do I pay my school fees?
Exactly.
I want to grow myself as a musician. There are things that I cannot do because I'm a woman. I was laughing the other day. I was watching a comedian who was commenting on Trevor Noah's show.
Yes.
I forgot her name, but she was saying, look, what we don't realize is, for me to be a successful comedian, I need to tour.
Yeah.
There's security issues that are naturally there. As a woman, I can't tour as much as Trevor Noah would be. So there's those things that we need to try and circumvent and make it to the same level that these guys are making it. So those are the sort of things that I'm going through, and
that's what I wanted
to
actually find out, because with musicians, you go to perform, it's late at night.
Yes.
Sometimes you finish after midnight. You've got a child at home.
Yes.
Just balancing those, and societal expectations.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
how did you maneuver that?
I'm still maneuvering. It's like there's no script, you're literally just running the journey as it is. But one thing I was sharing with someone earlier today, that we actually wanted to do a show with Prue and Hope and Kudzisevenza 1 year. It was a couple of years back.
Yes.
But we could never get around it because Prue had school run.
Yeah.
I had school run.
Yes.
Hope had other things she had to run. We all had things going on. And until we sat down and said, you know what? We can't compete and do all-night rehearsals.
Exactly.
We can't. So why don't we rehearse at Prue's house?
Wow.
Because Doku Nevana,
Yeah.
you know. And so it needs the women in those spaces to make the environments that work for them.
Yeah.
Which is why I started the Magitari Live acoustic night, because it was meant to be a space for women to, or female artists, to come and bring their kids. And it's an all-day Maskati Murguridza, and it's family friendly.
Yes.
So it's up to us to create the spaces that work for us and not try to fit into what doesn't fit into us,
Exactly.
I suppose.
And you know, I know you do carry your guitar everywhere you go, but for this particular program, we have 3 segments.
Okay.
And at the end of each segment, you have to play us a song.
No
So
problem.
this is the time for you to play
To
us
play the song.
our song, because we are in the festive season, and celebrating 2020 was not an easy year.
Yes, it
so
wasn't.
really we want to put people into that celebratory mood. So it's over to you.
Definitely. So the song that I'm going to sing for you first is Chipo Chango, which is really celebrating the giftings that we have and saying whatever it is that you are gifted in, pursue that, because it's in your purpose, it's in your calling, where you're going to find true happiness. So this one is called Chipo Chango. Zvakambotaura kuti vachakuvenga ini ndikarambawo chokwadi, vachakutuka uye vachakushora kuini ndiniwo ndadi. Chipo changu handina kusarudza, vakatondisarudza ini kuva mutumwa waMwari, unza tariro kwamuri, musandivengere simba rake iri, musandituke nechipo chandakapiwa ini naJesu, musandivengere simba rake iri, musandishore nechipo changu imi, shandisa chipo chako ubudirire, ndauya pano kuti ndikurudzire, shandisa chipo chako ubudirire, ndauya pano kuti ndikuyambire.
Well, yeah, that's a beautiful message. We all have our gifts that we are supposed to use. If we are going to be successful, let's utilize our God-given talents. Join us after the break. We will continue with Tariro and her guitar. Welcome back. We're continuing with our festive celebrations here on the Talk with Tariro. And we have Tariro Negitare on the program. So we want to find out, Tari, from you, in terms of 2020, it wasn't an easy year for almost everyone. And I would want to find out, how did it affect you? How did it affect musicians in Zimbabwe?
COVID was tough for everyone. I don't think anyone was exempted from it. And personally, it really opened up my eyes to a lot of things. It made me appreciate my family and friends more, because, look, it's not COVID, really, we lost a lot of people. And you're living in that fear of who's next.
Exactly.
Is it me? Is it my relative? Is it my friend? And that made me want to reach out more to those people that I love, those people that I'd forgotten, that I needed to just reach out and say, are you okay?
Yeah.
It also made me see who cares and who doesn't.
True.
It made
So
me see
true.
that really
Yeah.
true. And also opened up my eyes to different opportunities, what I could do with this gift. I started to look at the value chain more closely, and also start to explore my development side, start to explore the projects that I've been wanting to do. And most importantly, it made me draw closer to God, because you have nothing else but say, look, okay, Mwari, what is the plan now?
Yeah.
You gave me this gifting.
Exactly.
How am I supposed to go through this season? And his provision, his care, and his providence was just, consistent throughout the whole period. So as much as it was such a dark cloud over everyone, but look, I chose to look at the hopeful side and say, Lord, so what are we supposed to learn from this? And I'm just grateful that we actually have this chance to communicate and share what we've been going through. But yes, it was definitely a tough season. And I also got to write my album and record it.
Wow,
So
during
that
the
season,
lockdown.
yes. So I've completed my new album called Exalt, and I'm excited about that.
What are you going to do differently that through the lessons that we
Through the
learned
lessons.
through COVID?
I think I'm going to use my music to create an experience. Everyone I should come in contact with should experience hope, because that's what Tariro is,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Should experience the hope of Christ. I've ceased to be an entertainer and a performer, but to be a torchbearer, a light bearer, and just a bringer of good news. And yeah, I think that's what I've just shifted to be.
Yeah. We had Nyasha on the show, and one thing that he was telling us is, for him, COVID taught him that as a music producer, as a musician, is to say, don't just rely on music only. You need to have a side hustle, because for him, he was saying, I was really hard hit because the people that I produced, it meant they couldn't come.
Yes.
It needed them to be having their own equipment at home and be able to produce, so that they sent files to him. And then those people didn't have the equipment.
Exactly.
So for him, it meant the work that he was supposed to do was not there to be done. So he's like, I'm believing in doing the side hustle. And I was like, won't it affect your passion, your music, your core business? And it was like, COVID has taught me, no, I have to have a side hustle. I want to hear your perspective on that.
So I'll tell you that I totally agree with Nyasha. And what that did is, there's actually a project that came up during COVID, and we had to record ourselves in our settings. And I didn't have the equipment. I didn't have enough equipment, so I had to make a plan and, run around and make it happen. But then it now opened up my eyes to the gap where we need to empower our women to be technologically, advanced in the arts.
Yes.
And there's an amazing project actually being done in Blawayo by some young ladies who've taken it upon themselves to teach them. They call Sisters Next Generation. So they've bought some equipment and they're training themselves to record themselves in studios. And I thought, wow, this is something that we need to be doing for every female musician in this country, so that we have no challenges, no issues of late studio hours. You can just do it at home.
So when you're looking at it, would you say female musicians were more affected compared to their male counterparts, or it was the same? The effect was the same?
I think the effect was the same. However, I feel we were not as prepared as our male counterparts were. And that's something we took lightly, because you can just walk into a studio and get your stuff done.
Exactly.
But it really woke me up and said, look, I need to get my tech side sorted. And that's something that I'm definitely working on.
That you're working on.
And I don't want to do it on my own. So I really want to join with the other women, especially the girls in Bloy, and see how can we do it together, so we can empower each other to be tech savvy.
Yes, exactly. Because it's not going to be the same anymore. It's time for you to give us the next song.
Sure. So the next song is called Musasa. Self-explanatory. You hear it. Also from the new album Exalts. Usazodzika midzipa musasa, midzipa musasa, garawagadzirira kuzoita basa, kuzoita basa. Iwe wakasikwa kumunyengetera nekumuterera, nguva yapera, odai watendera, iwe dai watendera. Vavarira zvinhu zvedenga, inguva yekunamata mumweya nemuzokwadi. Iwe usadzike midzi pamusasa, 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 pamusasa. Vavarira zvinhu zvedenga, inguva yekunamata mumweya nemuzokwadi. Iwe usadzike midzi pamusasa.
Wow, you got the message. Musadzike midzi pamusasa. We continue with Tariro Negitare after the break. And really in the next segment, I want her to be advising young people, young girls who want to venture into music. How best can they do it? Join us after the break. Welcome back. We continue with our discussion. Today is the talk with Tariro Negitare. We are in our festive mood, festive celebrations on the talk with Tariro. And like I indicated, during this festive season, what we normally do on the show is to bring Zimbabwean celebrities so that we get to walk their journey, their life journeys with us on the show. And this year, particularly, we're looking at our musicians. And Tariro, what we want to find out from you, other young people interested in venturing into music, what do they need to do? What would you say this is my advice in terms of the walking this journey?
In hindsight, firstly, align yourself with something spiritual. In my case, I found that aligning myself with God has given me an edge and just some strength, because look, we fight not against flesh and blood, and especially in our industry where we're dealing with people's souls, you need that backing. Secondly, look, this is not a microwave thing.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not a microwave. You know, we used to laugh a lot with the late Dr. Oliver Mtukudzi, with Dan Alec Macheso, with Sam Mataura, and they always say, do you realize that without social media, we used to go to Mzarabani. For someone in Mzarabani to know that there is an artist, we used to go to those places. Now you can just post a video online. And it seems as if that's all you need to do.
Yeah.
So yes, the mediums have changed, but you still have to put in the work. There's a process to it. Knock on doors. Place yourselves in the place that you want to be. And is your product, what is your product? Yeah. What do you stand for? And I also believe that your gift will make room for you and place you before great men and women. But when you're before them, then what?
Yeah.
What are you going to talk about? What do you stand for? And those are things that you need to clearly define before you even start to sing. And what you also need to realize, which I learned the hard way, is you cannot separate Tariro Guitar from Tariro. I will walk in the shops without the guitar, but people will still deal with me as Tariro Guitar. So I have to watch the way I conduct myself. I have to, people like my daughter are watching every move that I make. So I have to be careful about that and really represent the gifting the way that it should be, and not influence people the wrong way. So yeah, that's what I would share.
And for a lot of parents in Zimbabwe, it's the issue to then say, if my daughter or my son wants to venture into music, is it something that's sustainable, that they can live off?
I think music is definitely sustainable, and especially when you have the support of a parent, when you have the support of someone else who will walk the journey with you. It's like any other business. What you put in is what you'll get out. You know, you just have to push. I believe an artist is just like an entrepreneur, and you decide the path that you want to take. There's a very rich value chain that you can make money from. If you're singing, you could be selling PA systems or hiring out of PA systems. You could be selling the clothes that people wear, the makeup. There's just so many things around our value chain that can make you viable financially. But it's about planning, and it's about having the right support and the right people to make sure that your brand grows in the way that it's supposed to grow.
You started with established musicians. You spoke about Edith.
Yes.
Started with Edith, working with Diana and them, and then you then started working as Tariro Guitar, not being a guitarist for somebody else. How do you get to that point where you say, I think now I can go solo? Or can someone just start going solo and you just make your breakthrough?
Look, it's a choice you have to make. But remember, when I started with these ladies, they were not yet known, as known as
they are.
I recognized things that I wanted to learn from them. And I was mentored. So not only was I playing for them, but they would walk this journey with me. Muningina, don't do this. Muningina, why don't you try this? Muningina, work on this. I mean, I remember even one show, Alexio came up to me and says, look, you're very good, but don't be self-conscious. Work on that. Philbert Maro came to me and says, great playing, but come and work on these chords. Let's work on this. So it's also that humility to be able to say, look, I want to learn and walk this journey with those that are already ahead of you. And when you humble yourself and you serve, you learn much more than you would if you try to do it alone. I mean, Edith opened so many doors for me. I also worked with a lady, an amazing lady, who then, really mentored me spiritually, Mom Catherine Klanga. And little did I know, if I met her in the music circles, but little did I know that God used that woman to mold me spiritually for a journey that I am now to take in the music industry. So it's exciting to see what mentorship can do and how much more you can learn just by humbling yourself and letting the process take its course. Yeah.
So would you say the music that you're now playing, because I noticed from what you've been playing, it's linked now to almost like gospel music.
Definitely.
Is Tariro changing to focus on jazz, but
Look,
is yours jazz? What is it
it's a
called?
mixture. It's an Afro fusion. Really, it's an
Afrofusion.
Afro
Okay.
fusion. Look, the messaging has definitely changed. I've always been conscious, but I think now I'm consciously saying, look, this is what I'm all about.
Yeah.
I am about the gospel of Christ. I'm about bringing that message to those spaces that don't usually get it. Because
Yeah.
yes, you're in the churches, you know about Christ, but what about some of us who've been
Yes.
sidelined? How do I get my fellow colleagues to come on that journey? Because look, ngatisadzike midzi pamusasa, we're getting
Exactly.
somewhere, and COVID has to be something that makes everyone wake up to say,
And
where am I going spiritually?
in short 10 seconds, your message to Zimbabweans in terms of celebrating the festive season and your last song. But the song, I'm not saying 10 seconds.
Yes.
It's just the message that has to be short because we
Yeah.
want the music to
I'll,
play.
I'll mix the message with the song. The song is called Mazuva Fanana.
All right.
So let the season be a time to spend time with those that you love.
Yes.
Appreciate every moment, because we're not guaranteed tomorrow. So Mazuva Akafanana, where we are today is not where we're going to be tomorrow. So let's live with that hopeful mindset, and let God do the rest. Mazuva afanane karagarari kare zvinhu zvashanduka wani zvamunoona kudai mandara yavamai zvinhu zvapanduka chisi kaperi chinoshu dakuseriwa tobu damjeri zvinotoshamisa musazofunga pamaka tisiyai sheva tirwira isu tayambutswa mazuva afanane afanane mazuva afanane afanane chinyarara kakuchema shungurudzwa nenhema pfungwa dzavhurika idzi waneta nekutambura zvingoti zvinodhura zvinhu zvapanduka musa kanganwa pataka ranganwa istika poneswa he said this too shall pass chishingirira uchitarisira I can guarantee ya, this pain will not last mazuva afanane afanane mazuva afanane afanane mazuva afanane afanane mazuva afanane afanane.
I love the way it just rubs off.
Yes.
2021, expect my single.
Tariro na Tariro,
Tariro, the guitar, definitely. It's been awesome having you on the Talk with Tariro.
Thank you so much.
Yes, Zimbabwe, that's Tariro ne guitar. And the message that we have, let's enjoy our festive season. Let's enjoy responsibly. And definitely we say, welcome to 2021. We enter it responsibly as well. And hoping that it's going to be a better year for us. Until next week, it's goodbye.